It's easy to see why New Zealand has an international reputation for being clean and green. And we each have a part to play in making sure that it maintains that reputation. Caring for 93,000 patients and clients a year and employing over 2,000 staff means we generate huge amounts of waste. Around 750 tonnes a year, in fact. That's the equivalent of about 75 trucks full going to either landfill sites or for disposal in Christchurch. But before that rubbish and waste reaches its final destination, it's down to us to sort, label and load it for safe disposal. The New Zealand Standard Management of Healthcare Waste lays down strict guidelines for the disposal of this rubbish. By following the standard, we can minimise the risks to our staff, the public and the environment. The hospital generates different types of waste products, and it's important we can identify the various categories so we can segregate the waste and dispose of it in the correct way. There are three main categories of waste. There's controlled waste, which is generally considered to be non-hazardous, such as general paper and plastics, used dressings and swabs, disposable nappies, etc. Infectious or hazardous waste, which can include laboratory waste, cytotoxic materials and pathological waste. And there are recyclables. Wherever possible, we should recycle items such as cardboard, confidential papers and toner cartridges. For ease of identification, each category of waste is colour-coded so that we can tell at a glance which bag or container to use when throwing away items. It also helps orderlies and drivers to know what precautions to take when handling the bags for their own safety. You'll find a full list of what needs to go into which bin on this poster, which is displayed in clinical areas around the hospital. So let's look at a few examples of what does go into those bins. White bags are used for controlled waste, which is rather like general household waste. It covers the usual paper and plastic waste, but also items soiled with body substances, as long as they're not likely to leak when compacted. For example, in the children's ward or the assessment, treatment and rehabilitation unit, the white bag would be used for nappies, disposable incontinence products, disposable gloves and hand towels, among other things. Elsewhere in the hospital, the white bags might contain general paper and plastics. Intravenous plastic cannulae and epidural catheters, used syringes, without their needles of course, used dressings, swabs and gauze, along with catheters, empty urine drainage bags and emptied specimen containers. White bags can also take disposable sheeting, drapes, masks and gowns from theatre. Yellow bags. When it comes to infectious and consequently hazardous waste, yellow bags are used. Infectious waste has to be dealt with in a special manner, and it's our responsibility to make sure it's handled safely. For example, yellow bags must be used for all waste from patients isolated due to an infectious illness, and also the protective gowns, masks and gloves worn by staff caring for patients in isolation. Items containing volumes of body fluids, which are likely to leak if compacted, also go into yellow bags, for example sputum mugs, suction bottles and chest drains. All openings on containers should be sealed, and any wet or particularly heavily soiled items should be double bagged and sealed before being put into a larger yellow bag. It's best to expel the air from the bags and only fill them 2/3 full before securely sealing with a ratchet tie. The laboratory will also use yellow bags and bins to dispose of waste safely, such as culture plates and blood culture bottles. Sharp objects need special attention. All syringes with needles, suture needles, giving set spikes and other sharp objects need to be safely disposed of, so that anyone handling rubbish will not be exposed to the risk of injury. Sharps containers are designed for this purpose, but they must be sealed shut prior to disposal and only fill them to the line indicated on the container. Any body parts or body tissue must be treated in a safe and culturally acceptable manner. Human tissue and organs are disposed of in yellow plastic bags, but with the addition of a red pathological waste sticker. These bags are treated in a special way. They must be segregated and frozen before disposal. Cytotoxic waste carries a purple colour code. Any syringes, needles and equipment that has been used in the administration of cytotoxic treatment need to be disposed of in a purple cytotoxic sharps container or a purple plastic bag as appropriate. Black colour coding signifies hazardous chemical waste, and of course every care should be taken when handling such substances. This covers some pharmaceutical waste and substances which may be toxic, mutagenic, carcinogenic, teratogenic, explosive, flammable, corrosive, oxidizing or radioactive. They require specialist disposal, and you should contact your waste management officer. Not all our waste is thrown away. A lot of it can be recycled. For instance, unwanted confidential paper can be put into the blue containers. It'll be collected by a security company and shredded. It can then be used as packaging material. Cardboard is flattened and taken away for recycling, and spent printer toner cartridges are sent away to be refilled. So what becomes of the waste we've sorted into colour-coded bags and containers? All the waste that is generated in the hospitals is collected at regular intervals by orderlies wearing protective gloves. The yellow bags containing the infectious or hazardous waste are placed inside a rigid container. The collection containers, often referred to as yellow submarines or baths, contain body fluid spill kits in case of leakage. In the rural hospitals, a contractor collects infectious waste and transports it to Nelson Hospital in a hard shell container. White-bagged controlled waste is transported to the local landfill site. All infectious or hazardous waste in the yellow and purple bags and sharps containers is loaded into a large crate. The frozen pathological waste in the yellow bags with red labels is the last thing to be added before the crate is sealed. A truck then takes the hospital waste to a specialist plant in Christchurch for incineration for disposal. We all have a part to play in ensuring that our hospital waste is disposed of in the safest and most environmentally responsible way. Our primary aim is to meet the New Zealand standard on the management of healthcare waste, and thereby ensuring that we protect people, property and our environment.